We have a $20 super thanks to get going from CJ DeYoung III. It says, the only damn thing I want the Cowboys to win is the effing Super Bowl. I don't care how many regular season games they win. Going 19-0 doesn't mean jack if you don't win the Super Bowl. Shut up, fanboys. 12-5 in stats don't mean anything. I get that, CJ. And we all want the Super Bowl and playoff success. I think every single Cowboys fan knows that. There's just disagreements in terms of how best to get there. And when it's been nearly 30 years, there's going to be a lot of disagreements, and that's perfectly fine. CJ also says that this is in reference to the Mike McCarthy, Ty Dunn video we did on Sunday. One of, if not the best show yet. Thank you. I appreciate that, CJ. Also appreciate you, William Johnson, a $2 super thanks that simply said, thanks. Very kind of you, William. I appreciate that. And, of course, kind of UCG and everyone else who's super thanks and super chats here on the show. Super chats come in live. Super thanks come in on demand. It is a feature on YouTube. You donate outside of the live videos. Click the thanks icon, edit your message, send in whatever you want to say. As long as it is within reason, which for me is just don't make it one of the isms and we're fine, you will get a shout out on the show. From Tony. Tom, keep up the great videos with another $20 super thanks, by the way. Thank you, Tony. Keep up the great videos. You always say there really is a way to manipulate the cap, so we should be able to sign all three guys, Prescott, Lamb, my good buddy Parsons. Go Cowboys. Thanks. I agree. I would fully anticipate, in fact, I know for a fact that there is a way to pay all of those guys. You are able to make it work. Now, that means, maybe you're not going to pay Osa Odigizua, but you're also not paying anybody else right now. Next year, you're going to be paying Trayvon Diggs, Terrence Steele. And that's a maybe on Terrence Steele because you can cut him and save some money. So, yeah, you do get some of the stretching of the salary cap where you're paying a big high number there. The cap keeps going up. So you can absolutely pay all three of those guys. From Braden, I think the best move the Cowboys can make right now is trading for James Conner. I would love that move. Conner checks off a lot of the boxes I'm looking for. I think the Cardinals, their scheme overall was really good last year. I think Drew Petzing's going to get some head coaching interviews this upcoming off season. I think it'd be a big addition for Dallas. I'd feel way better about the ground game, the running back room overall. I think he's still super efficient, offers some big plays. I don't think Arizona wants to trade him. Not the first time that someone's commented about James Conner, so I get it. It's a good thought. I just don't think he's that available. So we'll try to keep this to more realistic names here, but name a player who you want to trade for. It'll be the pinned comment on today's video, so if that ad comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. From It's Isaac. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay. I believe the Leaf JJ is waiting to fall as the Sunday ticket lawsuit should be ending soon. This is a good question, or a good thought that I honestly hadn't really considered. What I settled on was this. If Jerry, the rest of the NFL probably also knows how that's going to go. And if they were worried about losing the lawsuit and having to pay billions of dollars in payouts, that might lead to an overall, limit on the spending. There'll also be appeals, might not have to be paid out for a while. Cap could continue to rise. The rest of the NFL is operating as if spending will continue to rise. And if the Cowboys were waiting on it to be a win, because I think that's going to happen, Jerry, of course, has testified in that, why? It's only going to cost you more. So it's a very clever thought. I think in the end, the Cowboys just don't want to set the market ever, and they will only do it once they have to fold and cave. And I just think they don't want to spend the cash right now, which is very frustrating to me. But that is a very good thought. Richard Robinson has a couple of Cowboys legends. He's got Troy Hambrick. He will be in the running back poll. And Quincy Carter, who I would fully expect ends up winning some of those, or winning at least one of the battles for the Ring of Honor voting. We'll be doing that all summer long, fitting the actual Ring of Honor members with their Cowboys legend meme player replacement. So name a Cowboys legend for me in the comments of today's video. We're going to be getting through the quarterbacks here soon. into running backs, wide receiver, trench players, linebackers, and more, drop that player name in the comments. A $5 super chat from MLZ's videos. If you had to pick only one to make the biggest impact this season, who would it be? Mazi Smith, Deuce Vaughn, Jalen Tolbert, or DeMarvion Overshown? Fantastic question. I'm going to pick the first-round pick, and the player that I am most concerned about, I think, long-term, and that has the potential for the biggest impact. That defensive tackle room is thin. If Mazi Smith plays like a first-round pick at defensive tackle, that is a huge deal for your entire defense. More so than, probably linebacker 2 in DeMarvion Overshown. A fun meme pick in Deuce Vaughn, who I will always love. Wide receiver 3 in Tolbert. I'd probably rank them Mazi, Overshown, Tolbert, Vaughn, but I'm going to try to make Mazi fat again and help that Cowboys front 4 out. Another $5 super chat from Chris B. Would be funny and on brand for this clown franchise is if we get to an NFC championship game and the head coach and quarterback both decide to go elsewhere. No head coach, no quarterback, and picking 30th. That is my concern. Right? Like, that's one of your downsides, is that the quarterback plays great, the head coach does a really good job, you come up just short, and the head coach and quarterback don't feel respect, and they go, we're going to leave, bye. Or even if one of them decides to leave and say goodbye, because there's no team control over them. That's why like a 1-year extension for Mike McCarthy wouldn't have been a bad idea. It gives him fake job security. It prevents him from leaving if things go well. And if it's bad, you're eating like $5 million or whatever it is. Like, there's no cap on head coaching contracts. You could have done that easily. And you should know what the ceiling is with those guys. Head coach has been here. This is his 5th year. Quarterback's been here for a long time. If you think they're the guys, then get the damn deal done. If you don't, then move on. You're adding unnecessary risk as far as I'm concerned, and the downside for this entire team to go from it's all about we to it's all about me, because everyone's fighting for their own jobs and futures and securities, and that kind of happened in 2019, and it turned a little bit toxic in Big B. I assume everyone knows what this is referring to here. From Pooh, spit on that thing. Could the Cowboys trade Damone Clark if Leafau balls out? Of course, balls out is in this as well. Sorry, I'm flustered by that one. I don't think, but I don't think so. Because there's just not great depth at linebacker overall. I could see Clark fall into linebacker 4, maybe 5 on the depth chart. And if a team offers a nice piece, okay, that's a different conversation. But I think it'd be a good thing if Leafau balled out. You spent more on him investment-wise than Clark did and bump him down the depth chart. I think Leafau might be a better fit for what Mike Zimmer wants to do from an instincts perspective. So I do think Clark is a little bit on the roster bubble, but I think he's more likely to make it than not. So grade the Cowboys linebacker room for me. The scale is 1 to 10. 1, of course, is the low end. 10 is the high end. Go vote in the comments section. From Tyler, how come Joseph and Wright never panned out? They have good height, good speed, lengthy, they can never track the ball. Could they have been better as a zone coverage safety? Well, they weren't the greatest tacklers either. Look, corner's actually very hard to play in the NFL. You are running nonstop, and you get beat about half the time. And if you're not locked in and committed, and if you have speed issues, which probably Sean Wright did not have good speed. He was slow. It's been he's long and lanky, but he was slow. Joseph had, let's be honest, I don't think Kelvin was ever fully locked in. He's still doing his boss man fat stuff. And remember this part too. Like, over 50% of NFL draft picks are bad. Like, it is not unique to miss on, a couple day 2 picks. That happens actually fairly frequently. Like, you can go back and look at, that draft class in particular and go, yeah, that quarterback room didn't really go the way you're hoping to. Patrick Surtain's been great. J.C. Horn has missed a bunch of time with injury. Caleb Farley's not been very good. Greg Newsome's been good. Eric Stokes has not. Tyson Campbell's been okay. Joseph was a bust. Asante Samuel was great. So I looked through the list here. Benjamin St. Just has been Aaron Robinson is not very good. Paulson Adebo's fine, if maybe low-end good. Melfonu finally got it going later on as a safety, strangely enough. Ambry Thomas is fine. Darren Hall, known as like, those are all top 100 guys, and the hit rate's like 50%. It's hard to make it in the NFL. From Food Review, who's your out-of-left-field college coach that will be a candidate for the head coach in 2025? Hopefully not Cliff Kingsbury S. I would bet, and maybe it's not the Dallas job in particular, but I would not be surprised if somebody links Brian Kelly to a head coaching gig in the NFL. Happens once every couple of years, normally with the Jets for whatever reason. EP Chris is going to hate this, but if Alabama does great things, someone's going to call about Kalen DeBoer. Now, I think he's a good college coach. I probably wouldn't leave, but I think that's worth mentioning. If Jed Fish spent time in the NFL briefly, it could be a decent fit at Washington. I don't think Dan Lanning's going to jump. Ryan Day would be my Cliff Kingsbury candidate, by the way. I actually don't think he's that good. Maybe someone will link James Franklin. Lincoln Riley is an obvious name too, but I don't know how many people are going to jump from college football to the NFL these days. I'd be a little bit surprised if that's how things played out. Now, we have Cowboys videos for you guys every single day, so hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. A $5 super chat from Scott Hoover. The lesson to be learned with Dak is do not hand out a no-trade clause. I don't trust him. I wouldn't pay him $60+ million, but now you can't stop him. You messed up the contract originally. And by the way, you are making the exact same mistakes you did if you plan on playing him, or if you don't as well. You could have paid him 2 years earlier and gotten a way more affordable deal done, and it'd be at the front of the line for quarterback contracts instead of at the back. Instead, you lowballed him pretty heavily, and he's like, this is BS. I'm not doing this. You made a mistake. Now, I will say this part too. I think the no-trade clause is a little bit overdone. I think you could have worked with Dak if you wanted to. The real problem is, I would argue the main lesson to be learned here is make up your damn mind. And once you make it up, go attack it. He's your guy? Pay him. He's not your guy? Move on. You kind of dragged your feet for 3 years, basically, the first time around, and limited your available cash and cap spending in the process. And you're doing the exact same thing this time around. From Roy Williams, I'm getting 2019 vibes from the team this offseason. It's a lame duck year for McCarthy. The Joneses don't care. I'm worried that could affect us this season. I think that is a very fair concern. That is like the downside, right? That 2019 team started off pretty good, right? They started the year hot, and then they kind of struggled, and the infighting began. It got a little toxic, and it all fell apart. And it was a nightmare. That's the downside of this year's team. That 2019 team was talented. Like, they should have been a really good player. I think they had the best point differential in NFL history that didn't actually make the postseason. They were a good team, but they turned into me, not we. I'm worried that could happen again this year. That is a very, very valid concern. MLZ's videos. I love the new intro, Tom. It caught me off guard when I saw it the first time. You guys let me know if you like it or not. The shout out Arnold for making it happen behind the scenes there. Let me know on Twitter as well. My DMs are still flooded with, my sister saw your profile. Click this totally not spam virus-filled link. Let's get rid of those. Hit me up on Twitter with any questions you guys have at WhatGoingDowney on Twitter. That link will be in the X. The link will be in the comments and the description of today's show.